I've never done the lives on this format, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick news update while I have um, this format open. So this is completely new for me. I want to also see if the people who are on my channel get updates while I am actually live. I'm very interested to see that, to see if if they do get notifications before I do the update. All right. So I do want to talk about what's going on. Let me go to my Discord and see if any updates have gone out. Hey, oh, somebody is in here. Hey, 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 hey. So yeah, it's time for the news update. Thank you for hitting the like button. I almost said like. I got real country on hitting the like button on the video. Hey DS, so y'all are getting notifications. That's right. That's right. That's right. And I just put a message on the Discord. Let me put it on also the community tab on Shanitra's main channel, the front porch. Make sure everybody know that we're in here. Because I do want to try this format to see if it's effective, because I've never done it. I always do StreamYard, set up a thumbnail, try to send out manual notifications and all that stuff, just because you know, you got to try something sometimes. You just got to try something sometimes. All right. Oh, I got a lot of notifications on my phone. So, hey. So there's three people. Y'all make sure y'all share this video if you can. I think y'all can share these. There's the third person did not like the video, and that's okay. Hey Anjanetta. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody knows we're live. That's what I'm trying to make sure of right now. And then we're going to go ahead and get a news update in so I can let y'all know what's going on in the world right this minute. It's a lot of stuff that's happening right now because y'all know the election is coming up. The third person left without hitting the like button, which is fine. I would rather you leave than to be sitting around messing up my poor little sad numbers on my new channel. Okay? And Janetta and D is holding me down. And I thank y'all for that. Okay? So let me see if I can find me with my own channel. Okay, so we got people in here. I'm not even gonna go through all the changes. I'm just gonna give y'all the news update for today and what's going on because things are happening. Okay, things are absolutely happening. Abdul Kareem Khan, hi. So I'm glad you're here. So I do news updates. This is Black Not Blue. Welcome. Okay, so I don't think I have to tell y'all I'm a black girl because you can see it, right? But I'm definitely not blue. The reason for the name of the channel for anybody who is new is because I am black and I owe absolutely nothing to the Democratic Party. That means I spare no one. I don't spare anybody, okay? So we're going to get right into what's happening in the news. So first things first, y'all, the CDC is recommending that anybody who's over 65, they want you to get a second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, the same one that has no clinical trials, none whatsoever, but they are still saying anybody over 65 should get them. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Also, another thing that you might want to know or that I think is important is that, mm, mm, mm. Whew. We are having something new happen with the news media. The news media, they're taking a different stance on things right now. We got newspapers that are normally very liberal, very left leaning, that are declining to endorse Kamala Harris. Yeah, y'all know I don't endorse her. I'm not voting for her, but that's cool if somebody else wants to. I do not believe in attacking or alienating or name calling or bullying anybody who wants to think different or vote different than me. I think that's insane, and I think that type of behavior has to stop, right? Also, but I do want to point out something. So, liberal newspapers, papers that normally are more liberal, more left leaning, they are refusing to endorse her. And I'm not sure why, but they are, okay? So there's three national newspapers that have declined to endorse her, and that is the LA Times, the Washington Post, and now USA Today. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is odd. I just like I pay attention when things get strange. When things get strange, my eyes are open. I got my tinfoil hat on because what's happening? So, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon and the Washington Post, explained this decision, okay, in a post saying that an endorsement would hurt the press more than it helps Americans. I say, what y'all saying? What is going on here? I'm like, wait a minute, my conspiracy theory hat is on. He referred to showing a recent Gallup poll showing that Americans' trust in the media is at an all-time low, and it's at an all-time low for a reason. We cannot trust the media; they lie about everything. So, oh, and y'all, please subscribe to my channel so you can come back. He said that Americans' trust in the media is at an all-time low, and he doesn't apologize for the many valid reasons for this. He just says that the press must work harder to control what we can control to increase our credibility. So to me, that says a lot. The fact that they feel like endorsing her would hurt their credibility. I'm like, what are y'all saying about Kamala Harris? Y'all know what I say about her, but I'm not gonna do it. I don't feel like provoking anyone today because I don't want to have to, have a kerfuffle. I don't want a kerfuffle. Another thing, Tim Walz has came up in the news. Tim Walz is in the news because of a strange romantic entanglement. Now we learned all about entanglements from Jada Pinkett Smith, and now entanglements are back. So a Chinese woman claims that she had a romance with Tim Walz while he was in China in 1989. So I'm like, what's the big deal? I wouldn't call this a bombshell exactly. It was consensual, even by her account. Now, her name is Jenna Wang. She is 59 years old. She's the daughter of a high ranking communist official. Ooh. During his 1989 teaching stint in China, she says that they had a secret fling, but they couldn't be public about it because her family would not allow her to be with a Westerner. I don't blame them. Wang says that Walz left her heartbroken when she had hoped for a marriage proposal. I said, oh, wow. So I don't know why that's news, but it is indeed in the news. Moving right along. Now, there's some things that are happening that are also not so lighthearted. I think we covered the lighthearted stuff first. This one is not very lighthearted, but I'm going to cover it anyway because I don't care. Now, this one is very disturbing, trigger warning if you're a sensitive person. Israel voted to ban the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, the UNRWA, from operating in Israel, which means that the organization will not be able to send much needed aid to civilians in Gaza. So they are voting to block aid for civilians in Gaza, which is disturbing because you got these people in a condition where they need aid, but now they're blocking it, right? So in May, the Israeli government proposed legislation that will label the UNRWA a terrorist organization. So, according to the Israeli government, the UN, the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, they said that's a terrorist organization, which is crazy. How is somebody bringing aid a terrorist organization? This is a familiar tactic used by the Israeli government. They also recently labeled members of the press as terrorists in advance of a weekend in which at least 5 journalists were killed, lost their lives. Okay. I know we got censorship on YouTube, and I want to respect it. So, this is a familiar tactic used during the Obama administration when the civilians who were killed were categorized as combatants as long as they were military aged. The head of the UNRWA, Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini, said this about this vote. Okay, this is the head of the UNRWA. He said these bills will only deepen the suffering of Palestinians, especially in Gaza, where people have been going through more than a year of sheer hell. It will deprive over 650,000 girls and boys there from education, putting at risk an entire generation of children. These bills increase the suffering of the Palestinians and are nothing less than collective punishment. Putting an end to UNRWA and its services will not strip the Palestinians from their refugee status. The status of protected the status is protected by another UN General Assembly resolution until a fair, lasting solution is found to the plight of the Palestinians. Failing to push back these bills will weaken our common multilateral mechanism established after World War II. This should be a concern to all. Hazeline, if I'm being honest, we should be concerned to a degree, to a large degree actually, because it's a lot of American funds that are tied up in what is happening in Israel as it pertains to Gaza. So hopefully they work that out, but I want y'all to know what is going on. Okay? Now, more news. More news. Well, I mean, it's really no real reason to get into what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Like, Russia's winning. I don't know what else we need to say. They gained control over 3 new communities in the Donetsk People's Republic over the last day or so. So we're basically sending money over there for nothing. Ukraine is losing horribly. Like, you're not going to beat Russia. I feel like everybody knew going in they were not going to beat Russia, but here we are billions of dollars later and they still can't beat Russia. Now, and that is with people telling us that we should still give them more money even though they cannot beat Russia. Um, Taiwan has agreed to purchase drones from us. Y'all, this is getting weird. And what the hell does Taiwan want drones for? So Taiwan agrees major drone purchase with America. Okay, now this is per Bloomberg, y'all. This is what they're saying is happening. The U.S. governed island, the not U.S. forgive me, the self-governed island could get up to 1,000 U.S. attack drones. Listen, this is a recipe for disaster. Ooh, this is courting trouble. So Taiwan and the U.S. have agreed in principle that the island can buy a large quantity of U.S.-made attack drones. Taiwan could reportedly get up to 1,000 UAVs from U.S. firms AeroVironment Inc. and Anduril Industries Inc. in accordance with the deals that are expected to be signed soon. So this hasn't been signed yet, but it is coming. The attack drones in question should help Taiwan with blunting a potential Chinese assault on the island democracy. The agency said in an article on Tuesday, Washington and Taipei have signed a letter of offer and acceptance. In late September, the report read, the document is in the final steps before the agreeing of actual contracts, in which the quantities of drones and their prices and delivery deadlines will be outlined and explained. This is very much looking like we're back to trying to provoke a fight with China. And I just don't know why we would want to do that. We're not in a position to tangle with them. We have our own stuff going on with our own government where we have internal fights in this country. Speaking of internal fights in this country, Trump went and did a press conference earlier. He did a press conference and he brought out some ladies, one of which I watched as much of it as I could because I am a mother and I was triggered. And so she shared with the audience live and those of us watching that some illegal aliens who broke into this country illegally attacked, assaulted, and took the life of her child. And I think that when we have things like this happening in America that are that serious, that are that heart-wrenching, triggering, and incendiary, we do not need to be provoking fights with anybody else. And I'm going to tell you another reason why we need to be very careful about provoking fights with China. A lot of the people who are coming in at the southern border, and that border is very much wide open, very much not protected. A lot of the people who are coming in at that southern border are from China. They are from the People's Republic of China. They are military aged, and a lot of them are men. We do not need to court a fight with these people, and we have a lot of their citizens on U.S. soil dang near undocumented and on the loose. I don't think we could survive what would happen if those people attack us from outside and from inside. And we need to pay attention. I don't care what part of the country you live in, what part of what economic demographic that you belong to, you had better pay attention, because if you belong to a demographic where you are largely unprotected. You're in the inner city. You do not have weaponry. You cannot defend yourself. If something breaks out and we are assaulted from within, from inside our borders, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We already are having to deal with the fact that there are Venezuelan gang members on U.S. soil. They were released from Venezuelan prisons, and they were able to walk right into the U.S. at the unprotected, wide open southern border. And so we already have a form of warfare on the streets. And like I've said before, and I will say again, that black people in this country are absolutely the canary in the coal mine. If something goes wrong, it's going to go wrong with the black community first, for several reasons, most of which are economic. So we do need to pay attention. We do need to write letters to your congressmen, to your senators. Let them know that you're not really okay with us making deals to give attack drones to Taiwan and courting possible skirmishes with China. One, when we owe them as much money as we do. Two, when we have as much trade with them as we do. And three, which maybe should be number one, because we've allowed so many of their citizens to walk right into the southern border of the U.S. unchecked. And they're walking around with us undocumented, and we do not know what these people are up to. Hi, William Brown. More than people think. Oh, America has so many guns. We okay? Right. We are not okay. Hey, Aries son, thank you for being like number 12. So yeah, we do need to pay attention. Like, this is not fun and games. I know we have one political party that thinks everything is cool as long as we can dance around and, make TikToks and everything is great. Everything is not great. We still have people who cannot buy food, who are struggling to make it on a day-to-day basis. We have now not just the people struggling, but struggling while watching our government give money to people who have never paid one dime of taxes. And now they're actually, I agree, man. And now they're actually courting trouble with China. And we have done everything. And when I say we, I mean our government has done everything to empower other nations against us. China has been empowered. China has been put in a position where they have leverage over us, heavy leverage. So we need to, as citizens, even if you are in an urban area, if you are a Black American, please understand that's why the name of this channel is Black, Not Blue. We are Black. We are not blue. We owe no allegiance to anyone. Okay? Iman said, thank you for speaking facts. Every chance I get, honey. Please subscribe. Please don't let this be your last time, because I will be talking. Hey, Cheddar Bob. I'm from Texas. So when other states talk about we don't want this or that, we're the first state dealing with them 247. I totally agree. I just moved from Texas was it last year? Last year. I left Florida. That's my home state. I'm a proud Floridian. Shout out to Governor DeSantis. I don't care what nobody say about Ron DeSantis. That's my dog. I love him. But I moved from Florida to Texas, and I know exactly what you're saying. That's fine, Boo Berry. You're welcome, though. If you want to stay, we'd love to have you. And if you want to leave, we're sad to see you go. But in reality, I saw some things up close and personal. But to be honest, I cannot imagine how bad things must be in Texas at this point, with everything that's happening at the border. Like, it's really, it's disappointing and it's disturbing, but this is our reality. And we got to really think about how it affects us on an everyday, day-to-day basis, because it does. It really does. William says, DeRidder, Louisiana. I was in Houston often. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I was in Houston for 10 years. So I saw a lot of, I saw the beginnings of the problem, but I was not there, thank God, for what's going on right now. and what's happening in Dallas. And I have lots of friends in New York, and over the years, I've always loved New York. I would not go to New York now. I have not heard good news about the condition of New York City. And it's due to what's happening, largely due to what's happening at the southern border. That's right, Zelene. Please tell them on this channel and on my other channel, we agree to disagree. We don't go around insulting people and name calling. We leave that to certain people who believe in wearing blue. We don't do that here. We're civilized. But I think that we absolutely do need to be concerned and we do need to pay attention, because if what is shaping up takes place and we do have to deal with a threat from China inside our borders as well as a possible, you know, offensive from outside, I don't know how we would fare. I don't know how we would. Honestly, I do not know how we would survive. We've seen the way our government responds when there is a natural disaster. So I don't have a lot of faith in how they would respond to defend us if we were to suffer an assault of that kind on U.S. soil. I don't think that we would do. I don't think that we would fare well at all. I'm just being honest. I don't think so, and it's just my opinion, but I don't think so. You know, there's some other things that I did want to mention. Canada, one of their politicians had a very good idea, and I think that it's something that we need to look into here in America too. Okay, William Brown says most deaf said the mark of a civilization is not how well you agree, but how well you disagree. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think it's good to have conversation, and not only to have the conversation, but actually to have dissenting opinions, and then, you know, put our heads together and come up with something that may be in the middle that may serve everybody. I don't think that any group anywhere is right 100% of the time. I think the most important thing is to have the conversation and to be intelligent enough and rational enough to listen to what the other party has to say. Like, I don't want anybody to leave because you have a difference of opinion. And I don't want you to be angry about it. Just tell me what you think. Now, this Canadian politician, I think his name is Pierre Polivier. Polivier, okay? So he has proposed eliminating a tax on home sales. I find that interesting. And I think that's something that America needs to look into as a way of alleviating pressure and stress on US citizens. Like, they're not cutting us slack anywhere, and they got to. Blueberry says, do you believe minorities need to leave the two parties and start our own party? I do believe that's something we need to look into. I think that we absolutely need to consider starting our own party, or at the very least, have some sort of, how do I want to put it, organization within our own communities, that even if we don't have our own party, that we have someone who represents us, literally represents us and our concerns, our very unique concerns and issues that directly affect us. Because right now we don't have that. The Congressional Black Caucus is a farce. It's a farce. They have been bought off, and they do not represent us. They never speak up for us. They allowed Israel and one of their ministers to say that the biggest threat to Israel is Black American youth. So they don't speak up for us. They do not talk up for what matters to us. They do not mention issues that really need to be concerned, or not concerned, but addressed within our communities. So that two-party system stuff, I'm not for it. I don't believe in it. When you start talking about a left wing and a right wing, they're on the same bird, and none of them are your friends. And I think that that's the other thing, this whole fan mentality, and, you know, let's vote based on who likes us, because if that's the case, then we're never going to vote. Nobody likes us, and I think that we got to get that in our mind first. We're not here to be liked. We're here to be represented adequately. But we can't do that until we come together and find someone who can represent us, our needs and our concerns, and then put it to whoever the politicians are who are running for office and say, hey, unless you can meet these needs, You cannot count on a consolidated vote from our community. Because what's happening now, which is why I'm black, not blue, is that the Democratic Party has become way too comfortable, complacent, and entitled to the black vote, so much so that they are encouraging bullying to the extent that they want to bully the black community into saying, you better vote for us. We're going to tell you to your face that we're going to do nothing for you. At least in past years, they made promises. And after they made the promises, they didn't deliver on them. Now they're not even making promises. They're just simply saying, you had better vote for us. Oh, no problem, Boo Berry. I'm just glad you stayed. And so now what I'm noticing, since we just talking, right? What I'm noticing is that they're, in lieu of making any promises, they're simply trying to pander to the lowest rung of our community with identity politics. And then they're trying to play the social media game, like trying to use stand culture. Like, I'm going to use your favorite celebrities. And we're going to talk about things that we think you understand rather than addressing real issues. And I think the insult in that type of behavior is that you're treating us like we're not intelligent enough to talk issues. So you rather talk to us about Beyonce, a stimulus check that's 5 years old, and who's black and who's not. Like, we don't care about that. Right now, the color that matters is green. The color that matters is green. And the only solidarity that most of us are concerned with is keeping our families safe. People want to be able to buy groceries. People want to be able to put gas in their vehicles. And yes, I do think Canada has a great idea. Why can't we eliminate the tax on home sales? Hi, Mia. Why can't we do that? I'll tell you why they're not proposing anything like that. They do not want to alleviate or remove taxes on anything in this country because they intend to collect as many taxes, as much tax as they can from actual U.S. citizens for their own private interests, and I believe some of their criminal activity. Because you're not going to convince me that all of that money. What is a cop hatter? I don't know what a cop hatter is, but please let me know. The money they sent to the Ukraine. I do not believe for 1 minute that money remained in the Ukraine. I watched what happened with FTX, and I absolutely believe that a lot of that money was embezzled and sent right back to the Democratic Party, including Joe Biden. I believe it. And nobody's being held accountable. So no, they're not going to back off on the taxes because they want to make sure that they have money to put into their special interests and to line their own pockets. Now that's what I believe. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. And it's like right now, I think that we got to keep an eye on things because we got to survive. We got to survive. And I think we do have actual concerns right now. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's not popular or it's not trendy or it's not nice. Shout out to you, Derek. That's what's up. But the reality is we do need to be concerned about votes. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. That's one of the things we need to be paying attention to. And I think that Black America has fallen for the con and thinking that, oh no, if you mention that you're a racist or you this, like, how am I racist? I'm blacker than most people that's probably listening to me right now. The bottom line is the reason why we need to be concerned about the votes and why that's true, Blueberry, but we got to have a stream about that under financial literacy. But the reason why we need to be concerned about that, the Democratic Party, I think, can see that they're losing their grip on Black voters who feel beholden to them or feel like they owe them a vote. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they have that southern border open is because they want to get as many people in here that they can use to replace the Black voter bloc. because people are waking up and realizing we owe them nothing. You need to promise us something. And when you can promise nothing, you can deliver nothing. We do not owe you a vote. We owe you no loyalty. We owe you no loyalty. And those conversations about, oh, you're not going to get a free check. Most Black people I know work for a living. Nobody's offering us a free check. We're not looking for a free check. We work every day. I work, my husband works, we work. So nobody's looking for a handout. We want you to talk to us about issues. And when I see a party of people who refuse to flat out discuss issues and what you're going to do with your policies that will affect the way we live, the way we pay taxes, the way we're able to provide for our families, then I do not owe you a vote. I don't. And I think when you start shifting yourself around those issues and your entire platform becomes but Trump, Beyonce, twerking, and let's talk about a stimulus check that's 3 and 4 years old, that is an insult to my intelligence. And you're low key saying that that is your opinion of Black people. I'm tired. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm tired. I have had it. Right, Aries Sun. Right, Zeline. But that's my whole point. Like, it's real cool for us to say, well, that's both parties. The reason why I make sure I point my fingers at the Democratic Party is because we're already critical of the Republican Party. We already know to watch the Republican Party, but I know for a fact that the con job has been so thorough that we do not scrutinize the Democratic Party at all, to the extent that anytime we ask questions, they trot out celebrities to tell us to shut up. If we say, hey, but this would really help us. Is there a way that you can do this? Why haven't you done that? They trot out somebody like D.L. Hughley to insult Janet Jackson. Or they'll trot you out, they'll trot out somebody like Plies to say, shut up and be quiet. We're not interested in being told to shut up. I'm not. I'm not interested at all. We were literally trained, conditioned, and told to get an education, become literate, get an understanding of civil political science, and then once we get that understanding, we're told, be quiet, don't be intelligent, do not use critical thinking. Simply just regurgitate talking points that you heard from people who refuse to answer your questions. And it has to stop. I see a lot of bullying online, and I think that it's mindless behavior, and it's happening because we're just parroting things. We've become so accustomed to mob mentality, to a hive mind, to this wolf pack mentality that if one person thinks it, we all have to repeat it. Hey, he, lel. We all have to repeat it without ever stopping to say, hey, does that make sense? Does it make sense? I'm currently in Mississippi, Derek. I went from Florida to Houston for 10 years. And then I was in Shreveport with my husband's family for a year. And now we're in Jackson. His job has him everywhere. So I just kind of pick up and go where the man goes. I'm one of those ladies. But we got to do better. We simply have to do better. And we have to take ownership. We have to take ownership of things. We can't just say, well, everybody's doing it, I'm going to agree with it. And, when bad things happen, that has nothing to do with me. We got to look into like really being accountable. If we vote for people who do heinous things and cause harm to people, we have to take accountability for the fact that we had a hand in that. When I watched that woman today, during that press conference, talk about those people who broke into this country illegally, how they attacked and assaulted her baby. And she was trying to get to the location where her phone was pinging from. And she got there and saw her child, saw the police, saw the yellow tape. Her baby's bottom half of her clothing had been removed. Her wrists were bound. And I won't go into much more detail. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. That broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I think to a certain degree, anybody who participated in that, whether it was active or passive participation, you got to bear the brunt of the fact that you took part in what caused that woman's heartbreak. You took part in what took that woman's child from her. You took part in that lady never being able to tell her baby good night again. And I think that we have to really tap back into our humanity. Like, what the hell happened to us? When you got three girls, I have two. I have two. What did Blueberry say? Blueberry said we need to change the current standards, but we need to start local because mayors have more power over your life than presidents. That's true to a degree, but not always so. What's at stake right now is we cannot risk someone who's going to just merely keep the status quo. Hi, Yvonne. We can't. Like, that passive way of thinking is not okay. We can't do it. We can no longer get away with that. Someone who's telling you they're going to implement every policy that's already in place that's harming us, and then I'm not changing anything. I got a problem with that. I'm gonna need you to change some stuff. And you can't sit here flat footed in my face, standing 10 toes down, and tell me that you are going to change absolutely nothing and then say, ah, ha, 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 vote for me. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Either that or you think I'm wrong. One of the two has taken place. And I'm not real fond of people insulting my intelligence. I'm not. William said I was a part of my mayor's campaign. That man couldn't do squat. We're going to talk about that one day too. We're going to have to really sit down and talk about some of these urban areas, some of these cities that have high crime and who the mayors are. And we need to look at their record from the time that they've been in office, not just the mayors. We need to look at the city councils. I was watching some interesting information on Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and it was disturbing just from the 70s till now. From the 70s till now. And I looked at how nice the area was. At one point, it was growing fast. And then you could just literally see this massive, sharp shift. So we're going to do some live streams on that too. We're going to do some live streams on that type of stuff too. So listen, guys, I just popped in to do a quick news update. I will be back tomorrow. Okay. I will be back tomorrow. And we're going to do more news updates. Like I said, I hope everybody here, please, will subscribe to my channel that you're on right now, Black Not Blue. Thank you for hitting the like button. And we're going to do news updates because I don't bite my tongue. I like to be truthful. And please know, even if you don't agree with me, you are welcome here, and we're happy to have you, okay? All right? Bye. Now, how do I end this thing?